Takes to the sky like a bird in flight, and who will be her lover? All your life you've never seen a woman taken by the wind. Would you stay if she promised you heaven? Will you ever win?
Hello everybody, so today I'm going to be doing a video where I'm going to introduce you to all the horses in my barn, because I feel like I only really talk about my one horse, but we do have a full barn, so there's a lot to talk about. So starting right here, as soon as you walk into the barn, you see this Romeo Morgan. His name is Romeo, and he's my mom's horse. So she's had him for a few years now, and he's just kind of a pleasure horse. I ride him sometimes. There's not much to him. He's 14, and he's a cuddly guy. So right across from Romeo the Morgan, we have the newest addition in the barn, and this is Candy. So she's just a horse that I have in for training right now. She just got here yesterday. She's an 8-year-old quarter horse mare. I'm just gonna put some riding on her. But she's kind of shy, so you might not be able to even see her. And she'll only be here for 2 weeks, so I mean, Candy. So right beside Romeo we have Steve, or Steven, and he's just a boarder's horse. He's, I think, in his teens, and he's an off-track thoroughbred. He hasn't raced for a long time. So there's not much to him either. He's not ours, so he's just a boarder. But yeah. Across from Steve we have Max, or Maximum Tough Guy. And Max is a stud colt. He's 3 years old. He belongs to my sister. Sorry, Steve is trying to... Steve! He's a 3-year-old stud colt. He belongs to my sister. He's a grandson of Frenchman's Guy, and he's 3 years old, yeah. So he's not doing much. If he doesn't turn out to be a nice stud prospect, he'll be gelded, but for now, he's a stallion. He's the only stallion in the barn. Okay, so besides Steve, we have Stella. So Stella is 3 years old as well, and she was a bay roan. She's now going gray. She started lately under saddle. She's also one of my sister's horses, so she's kind of hoping that she's a good barrel horse. And another horse is trying to eat my camera. But she's a sweet little mare, cowbred, so she might be running barrels in the coming year. So yeah, and she actually used to be really head shy, so the fact that she's being so chill is like really cute, actually. Across from Stella we've got Diego. Diego is actually the only horse that we have here now that was born here on the property. So my mom used to own his mom, and he's an Andalusian. He's 3/4 Andalusian, 1/4 thoroughbred. So he's a bay gelding. I think he's also 14 years old. Stella! These horses think the cameras are really interesting. So my sister is on a drill team with him, but he's done everything from dressage, jumping, game stays, you name it. He's tried it at least, dressage, everything. So he's, you know, the kind of horse that anybody can ride. And so if we ever have a beginner that wants to come and ride, this is who we usually throw him on. So his name is Diego del Sol, which means Diego in the sun, because he was born under a ray of sunlight. There was like one ray of sunlight through the clouds, and that's exactly where his mom ended up having him, out in the paddock instead of in the stall. Of course, mares are going to do what mares are going to do. But he's just a really solid guy, and he'll be here until the day he dies. So yeah. Now we have my favorite horse, of course. This is Dita. Hey, jeez, stop that. Dita, a Decider Stash to Gold. She's my barrel horse, and if you've been subscribed, then you would know who she is. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. I think that you know who she is. She's 8 years old. She's a barrel horse, and I've had her for 4 years now. So, and she's in her paddock now. But I'm gonna show you this other little troublemaker. So this right here is many moons ago. She's an off-track thoroughbred my sister got not long ago. She's a little wired. She gets turned out first out of all the horses, and of course I haven't turned them out yet. I usually turn them out as soon as I get here, so I think that maybe this wasn't the best time to forget a camera and start recording them because they're a little angry now. But Many Moons Ago is also 3 years old. She was actually trained to race, but she never did race, so she did train at the track, but she didn't race. She is Kentucky bred, so she's actually kind of fancy. She actually looks more like a warm blood than a thoroughbred. Personally, I think anyways. Dita. Okay. It's not just the bad horses that fool around the camera. It seems like everyone. So anyway, so she's a pretty cool mare. Hasn't done much yet, but she'll probably be sold as a hunter jumper. So that's her. So over here, we have another boarder. So this is Jack. He's a quarter horse. He's just a Western pleasure guy. I don't know a lot about him because he's fairly new here, but he is just a boarder, so he's not mine or anything. He's a pretty cool guy. He was kept a stud for quite a while, but he's a gelding now, so he's probably more cuddly than he was before. I don't know. I didn't know him when he was a stallion. Okay, so last, but definitely not least, maybe I can stand and block the sunlight that's being crazy. This is Rusty, so he is the smallest horse in the barn. He's a pony. He was rounded up, he was a feral pony up in the mountains, First Nations Reserve. So he came here a couple years ago. I think he's like 3 or 4 now, but he was only 2 when he came. So when he came, I halter broke him. He is a boarder, but his owners don't know a whole lot about training horses. So they got me to do pretty much all of it. So him and I have a little bit of a friendship. I was the one who halter broke him. I taught him all of his groundwork, and then I broke him to ride. And I got him safe enough to where their 10-year-old son could ride him. So I started then giving lessons to him. Oh, and Rusty's like literally, his owners could not have gotten more lucky. He is the most awesome pony. You can throw any child on him and he just does exactly what they want, but he's pretty lazy, so the kid does kind of have to work for it, but I feel like that is a lot better than having a horse that's going to run off on them or do something crazy. He's never bucked. Well, he's probably bucked a couple times when I was first starting him, but just because he was stubborn and lazy. He's not bucked with a child. He's not bolted. He's never reared or anything like that. So he's just super solid and safe. And he is a red roan. He'll let you do anything to him. It's hard to believe that he was ever wild because he does not show any hint of wild in him. So always, if you have a chance to either work with or go visit, or even like if you're looking for a project, consider a wild horse. I know, well, technically feral, but consider one of those because they can be really awesome horses, and a lot of people think they'll be too much, but I honestly, a lot of the Mustangs I've trained have been easier to train than a lot of quarter horses. It just really depends on the horse, and you can kind of tell even before you start training them what they're going to be like. Personality-wise and trainability-wise. So yeah, I have trained a few Mustangs, and I did a training competition. If you've been following me for a long time, you probably know that. But yeah, so that's basically all the horses we have in the barn. We do have a few in fields, but they're all boarders, so I won't show you them. They're not as interesting. But I hope you liked this video. If you want me to do more videos on the other horses, let me know, and if you want to see any other videos in particular, also let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I'll see you guys next time.